Hey guys, welcome back. This is Tim from Tim's Electronics Lab, and today I'm going to show you how to set up the Mosquitto MQTT broker with client certificate authentication. So to get started, we first need to have a Linux environment. That is because Mosquitto, as far as I know, only runs on Linux. To get started, we need to open the terminal. And that's the wrong screen. Terminal. Without the B. Terminal. Alright. And you need to create a directory called MQTT in your /home folder. So sudo make dir MQTT. Now enter your sudo password, and as you can see, it's there. So cd into it and do an apt update and let that work. Alright, that's fine. Now you need to install a few tools. So sudo apt install. The first one is OpenSSL. The second one is, of course, Mosquitto. And the third one is Git. So press enter and it will start to install them if you haven't already installed them. So now it's done, quick and easy. And what you need to do now is clone a repository. That repository is called EasyRSA. It's a little tool / environment for easy managing of certificates, and we will be using that today. So git clone. HTTPS github.com/openvpn/easy-rsa, and we need to add sudo in front of it. Alright, so that's cloned. So now cd into that directory. Now we need to make the executable executable. So sudo chmod +x easy-rsa. Tab completion over there makes life way easier. So now we're finished with setting up everything, and we're going to get to the actual interesting part of this video, which is actually pretty quick and easy. So to initialize your private key repository, don't worry, it won't be pushed to GitLab, GitHub, or any other software version control website. It's just local, but you need to initialize a key store, a certificate store for EasyRSA to understand what it's doing. So to do that, you need to run the EasyRSA executable with the init pki with sudo in front of it. So now you see init pki complete, and it shows you the directory that all these certificates will be stored. Now that directory should be empty. No, with a dash. First ls pki. That's empty. If we do -la, it's empty. So now sudo EasyRSA executable and enter build CA. This will build the trusted root certificate that will be used to sign all other certificates. So press enter, and you need to enter the new CA passphrase. This is very important that you don't pick an easy password. Use password manager and save it. This password, if used correctly, will not be accessible from outside. You won't be accessing this from outside the computer, other than an SSH connection or serial connection, if you do it on a Raspberry Pi. But it's very important that this should be a strong password. Otherwise, your whole security network is at risk, because others can generate certificates as if you generated them. So now, because this is a fake machine, a fake setup, I'll be using the password Tim. You need to enter it twice, and I think that didn't work out. Tim. Oh, I think yeah. You must type in 4 to 1,023 characters. So that's not enough. That's not long enough. Tim. I'm going to do Tim's. There you go. So now it's going to ask for a few very important parameters. These parameters are very important because they are embedded in all the other certificates. And when you use the wrong parameters here, the verification system won't work. So now it's going to ask for your common name, and it suggests you use your name, the host, or the server name. Now I'm going to open up a second terminal over here and type in hostname. The hostname of my computer is tim-virtualbox because it's a virtual box. When you are setting up an actual environment, you need to set your hostname to something simple like dashboard. My hostname is called dashboard. That everywhere in the network's dashboard points to one computer, one server actually, and that is the server that the MQTT broker is running on. So you need to set that. That's very important because all the verification requests will try to resolve the host name that you entered there and will try to match them. So for good measure, I'll be using Tim VirtualBox. I need to type it right over here and press enter. So that's everything you need. That is a very important step. You need to enter your host name. It's capital sensitive, it's case sensitive, it's number sensitive, it's anything sensitive. So that's a very important step. Now, since we've built the CA, that's the base of all the other certificates that we are going to generate, we now need to initialize the server certificate that the Mosquitto broker will use to identify itself. So you can do that by, again, the easy RC executable, and the type dash subject dash alt dash name equals DNS, and now you need to enter the same host name as you've entered in your CA setup. So here it's tim dash virtual box space, and now build dash server dash full. You need to enter it one more time, tim dash virtual box, and now you need to add no pass to it. That's very important, otherwise the generated certificate will be password encrypted. You can do that, but I won't show this in this video because yeah, it's not really necessary in my opinion. So now you need to enter the passphrase for your CA, and since we've just set up the CA, I know the password is Tim's, so enter that, and it should show write out database with 1 new entries, and database updated, and certificate is to be certified until August the 12th. So that's a very long time, 10 years, and yeah, no looking around at that. So that's good. Now we've got a server certificate, and for good measure I'm going to generate my CRL file. The CRL file is a file that contains all the accepted certificates, and that is the most important part of using client certificate authentication, that the server knows which certificate is allowed and which are not allowed. Enter. Again, you need to enter the passphrase for your CA, which is Tim's. Now it shows the updated CRL has been created. CRL.pam. Now, alright. Now it's time to copy everything to the Mosquitto folder. So first we need to look inside the Mosquitto folder, and you can already see there's a search folder in the Mosquitto folder. So oh no, it's README. That's good. So we don't need to make them. If there is no search folder inside the Mosquitto folder, you need to do sudo mkdir-p at mosquitto search. Now press enter, and the -p flag means that if the whole directory structure isn't there as you've entered it on the screen, it will going to make all of them. So if the Mosquitto dir is not there, it will make it, and inside the Mosquitto dir it will make the search dir. But since it's already here, we don't need that, and we need to look inside the PKI with sudo, of course. So now you can see all these certificates, and there are a few things we need to copy over to the Mosquitto search folder, and you can do that by sudo cp pka/ca.crt, and that's the source. Now you need to enter the destination, so etc mosquitto search, and press enter. Alright, so that's one. That's the CA certificate. Now we need to copy over the server certificate that we just created. So again, we can leave everything in place except for the PKA thing. So the server certificate will be stored in pka/issued/ then your hostname.crt. So tim virtualbox.crt. Press enter and it's copied. Now we also need to copy over the private key. So for that we need to go back to PKA. Now type in private, because private keys are private, and then type again your host name and add .key. Press enter, and now the final one, we need to copy over that certificate authentication list, the CRL file, so Mosquitto knows what to trust and what not to trust. That's very important. Otherwise the whole thing won't work. So again, go to here, leave everything in place except for the last of the first part, remove it until PKI, and now add crl.pam, press enter, and all your certificates are copied. Now what you need to do is sudo, we are going to edit the Mosquitto configuration file right now. So to do that you need to edit with sudo, and I'm going to use nano, the Mosquitto configuration file, and to the bottom bind address. Now enter your host name again, so tim-virtualbox, and below that listener 8884. The port is very important. It's not your standard 1883 port, because this port suggests that on the other end of this port, which is the Mosquitto broker, there's a client waiting with certificate authentication enabled. That's very important to comply with all the protocol port rules, etc. So use 8884. Now we're going to tell Mosquitto where the CA file is, so type CA file. Now enter the full path to your CA file, so etc mosquitto search ca.crt. Now we're going to do the same with the search file. Now you need to enter the server certificates that you've just generated, so tim-virtualbox.crt. Now you need to do the same with the private key file of the server certificate, key file .key. Now there are only a few more things to make the whole system, not exactly waterproof, but very close to waterproof. We need to require a certificate. Without certificate, you won't be able to enter the Mosquitto broker. Furthermore, we are not going to set a password and username for any Mosquitto connection. So yeah, that's should be disabled. So require certificate. We need to set it to true. And now the important part of connecting your clients to the broker is to use their identity as the username. So use identity as username true. And now we are going to specify the certificate, the trusted certificate list with CRL file. Now enter the full path of that file. That's crl.pem. Now press Ctrl and O and enter and Ctrl X. Now we've just saved the configuration file. You can enter it again and watch if everything's still there, which it should be. So yeah, now we're going to set some firewall rules. So first we need to check if the firewall is enabled. The status is inactive, which is okay for now because we will enable it very soon. So because Mosquitto listens by default on the port 1883, and I haven't found a way to turn that off, I'm going to add a firewall rule that blocks that port. So sudo ufw deny 1883, and it should show rules updated and rules updated v6. The bottom one is of course for IPv6, the top one for IPv4. So now we are going to do the same with 8884. Instead of deny, we'll be using allow. So allow 8884, enter, rules updated, and now we are going to type in enable. Now the firewall is enabled and is active and is enabled on system startup. So now we're almost done. Almost. For good measure, I'm going to restart the Mosquitto broker like that. And now it's time to actually connect to it. But we don't have any client certificates yet. So to do that, you need to once again use the ECRC binary. And now instead of build server full, we're going to use build client full. Now that command needs to be followed by the client ID, the client identity, and that needs to be unique, and that needs to identify the device. So if you're having some sensors outside, I suggest you call it back garden sensors. In this case, I'm going to use this setup as a test setup, so I'm going to call it YouTube test. And again, enter after the client ID no pass, since we won't need the password. Well, that sucks. I need to do sudo. Now enter the CA password again, which is Tim's. Alright, now it shows you that everything is created and the database is updated with one new entry. So that is good, but the CRL file isn't updated yet with that new client certificate. So in order to do that, we scroll back a few commands until we found the gen CRL. We press enter, we enter the CA password, and now we scroll back a few more commands to the command to this one. Now press enter, and this will copy the CRL file to the Mosquitto/search folder, overriding the previous one, since the one that's in the PKA folder is the newest and contains our generated client called YouTube test. Now, in order for these changes to get active, we need to restart the Mosquitto broker. So once again, type systemctl restart Mosquitto, press enter. Note that when you do this, all active Mosquitto connections will be dropped, and you should write your software in such a way that it will automatically reconnect to the broker. Alright, so I've forgotten one very important thing actually, and that is when installing Mosquitto. Mosquitto creates its own user and user group so that it is kind of separated / sandbox from the rest of the system. This is perfectly fine, and I suggest you do that for all your custom internet connected applications as well. But if we're going to take a look at the search list by sudo ls -la atc mosquitto /search and we enter, you can see that everything in there is owned by root and is in the group root. Now, Mosquitto will not work because Mosquitto is obviously not part of the root group, as this will impose a security risk to your system / server. So what we need to do is type in sudo shown -r mosquitto mosquitto, and now we need to enter the etc known as mercurial mosquitto, and now press enter. And if we take a look at the file system or the search folder right now, you can see that everything is owned by the user and their group called Mosquitto. And now we need to restart Mosquitto. And now if we're going to take a look at the status, oh no, status Mosquitto, we can see that it's successfully started. So now we're going to start Firefox and download a program called MQTT.fx, and that's a program that supports client certificate authentication. It's based on Java, so it should work everywhere. Only thing, this one. Oh, maybe it's also on apt-get. No. So software install, download it, open it, and install it, of course. Install. Enter your root password. So now it's installed, and search for it, MQTT-fx, and there it is. So now go to extras, preferences, no, not extras, also not preferences. Go to the gear icon, and for the client ID we need to enter YouTube-test because the client ID is matched to the certificate that we will be using. If the client ID does not match the certificate's client ID or identification, Mosquitto won't allow the connection. So also for the broker port, we have denied port 1883, so we need to use 8884. The broker address is also not what we want, because the verification will fail right now. We need to enter our host name. So now go to user credentials, make sure that's empty, enable SSL/TLS, and self-signed certificates, this one, not the other one, and browse to your file system, browse to the home folder, to the MQTT, ECRSA, PKA, and we need to copy them all over. Sorry about that. Like that. New to test private new to key. Alright, so now in our home directory we should see all the things. There you go. Open the CRT and open the certificate file. Open the client file and check PAM formatted. Click apply, OK, and click. So I don't know what went wrong there, but as you can see we are connected and this connection is secured. So if we subscribe to this one and we enter Tim's lab and we push it, we go back to subscribe, you can see that a new message has appeared. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that this video is really useful, and please show me your awesome projects, awesome secure project you created with it, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. Make sure to leave a comment down below. You can also share this video with your friends if you think they will like it too. See you next time.